First, we are going to talk about this diabetes. Diabetes. So this is one of the topic which is very much common, diabetes. So we are going to talk about also, there are two different type of diabetes. And what is the main reason or what is the condition, we are going to see that also. Okay. So this is the problem related with blood sugar level in body. Blood sugar imbalance in body. Blood sugar imbalance in body. That is the main thing which we see in case of diabetes. The diabetes is a type of disorder in which there is a blood sugar imbalance in the body. Now this diabetes, if we are talking about this, it happens due to two different reasons. There are two different causes of this. So let us talk about them. Diabetes are considered of type 1 and type 2. There is one thing called as type 1 diabetes. And there is another thing, type 2 diabetes. Type 2. So what is type 1 and type 2? So let us first discuss about type 1. Okay. So this is one of the condition in which there is a normal process in the body that it is an autoimmune related disease, or means our immune system itself destroys the insulin producing cells in pancreas. Okay. So this is one of the problem where we see that the immune system destroys the insulin producing cells of pancreas. So this is one of the problem where the body is automatically killing the insulin which is produced from the beta cell of the pancreas, okay, which are called as like beta cells of the pancreas. And this is something which develops in the childhood or adolescence phase. Okay. So usually develops during childhood itself. Usually develops during childhood. Or if it is not developing in childhood, then in the adolescence phase, means the time when people are reaching puberty, like 13, 14 years, 15 years. So in that age, in the teenage group, there is development of this type of diabetes. Okay. So that childhood or adolescence, there we have this development of type 1 diabetes. So here you will find that the body itself is killing the insulin producing cells of the body. Okay. So here, as a result of this, we see that there is little or no insulin production. Little or no insulin production. Remember this one part, insulin. If we talk about insulin, it regulates the sugar level. This regulates the sugar level in blood. Sugar level in blood. And here, this insulin is released by pancreas. Released by pancreas. So this insulin is released by the pancreas, and when we are having the problem of this type 1 diabetes, so there we see that there is no or little or no insulin production. Okay. So it is generally a genetic or cause, genetic or environmental. Environmental factors can be there, like in what type of environment a child is growing. In that can also affect, but largely it is genetic. Largely it is genetic. But there is one matter of relief. One more thing, like this is something which is almost non-treatable. Almost non-treatable. These people who are suffering from type 1 diabetes, they will always require insulin injection. Okay. Insulin injection is always required. Requires insulin injection. Lifetime. So they require this insulin injection lifetime. So that is type 1 diabetes. Now the positive aspect of this is that it is not so much common. That if there are 100 patients of diabetes, only 5 of them may be having this type 1 diabetes. Okay. So lesser prevalence, that is one of the positive part. There is lesser prevalence of this disease. Lesser prevalence. Around 5 to 10%. Around 5 to 10%. In India, it is normally 5%. Okay. But if you look at the global figures also, so it is around 5 to 10%. Okay. So that is the positive part, that it is not very much prevalent. It is less prevalent. So that is one positive aspect of this diabetes, type 1. Okay. Now, this is type 2 diabetes. So this one is caused due to lifestyle. So people invite this type of diabetes. The diabetes type 2. This is the most common, around 90 to 95%. 90 to 95% of diabetes. So this is one thing which is 90 to 95% prevalent. Okay. So out of the type 1 and type 2, this is 90 to 95% prevalent. It is a lifestyle related disease. Okay. So generally what happens that when people are not having proper exercise, when people are eating those food items which are rich in sugar content, when they are too much using sugar and all, so this becomes one of the challenge. Okay. So here we see that either lesser amount of insulin production or insulin becomes ineffective. Okay. Less amount of insulin production, less amount of insulin production or ineffectiveness of insulin. That here our insulin becomes ineffective. Okay. That is one of the challenge which we see here. Generally what happens that those people who are having obesity, sedentary lifestyle, poor diet or even genetic factors can also be there. Okay. So here we have obesity, sedentary lifestyle, poor diet or genetic factor. So they are generally responsible for this type 2 diabetes. Now it is mostly seen in the case of adults, but nowadays it is also coming in a little bit of young people. Okay. So mostly occurs in adults, but can also impact young ones. Youth. So nowadays what you see that those people who are having age of 30 to 35 years, they are also developing this diabetes, and that too at a very large scale. Normally when people are there in 30 or 35, they assume that they cannot be having any type of disease. They have a normal full confidence that I will not have any type of disease, I will have no problem, etc., etc. Okay. But then it develops. Okay. Now the benefit here is, with this type 2 diabetes, it can be controlled, it can be prevented also, or it can be delayed also. Okay. So this is one part. Okay. Can be prevented, or delayed, or you can say that managed with healthy lifestyle. So these people have no choice. Those people who are suffering from type 1 diabetes, they have absolutely no choice, because their body is made in that process. Their body has been made in that system itself, or their body is of that type only. But here those people who are suffering from type 2 diabetes, with good food choice, with proper lifestyle, they can prevent, delay, or manage diabetes.